It's amazing how a single Instagram story, one that lasts only a few seconds, can suddenly make millions of people stop scrolling at exactly the same time. And somehow, that's exactly what happened. You guys, can we talk about this for a second? Because honestly, ARMY thought the excitement from BTS' unforgettable FIFA World Cup 2026 final halftime show had finally settled down. The stage lights were gone. The stadium had emptied. The performances had already become cherished memories replayed over and over again in our minds. But then, someone behind the scenes quietly reminded everyone that some moments never really end. Not with a concert. Not with a standing ovation. Not even after the final camera cuts away. Instead, it happened through a simple Instagram story. The person who shared it wasn't another celebrity. It wasn't a sports account. It wasn't even one of BTS' official pages. It came from the fashion designer and co-director of Agrostudio, the creative mind behind Jimin's custom-made outfit for the FIFA halftime performance. And the moment fans realized what they were looking at, everything started all over again. Honestly, did anyone expect that? Because sometimes the people standing quietly backstage witnessed the most unforgettable moments of all. The story itself didn't need flashy editing. It didn't need dramatic captions. It didn't need loud music. The image spoke for itself. There it was. Jimin's custom-made outfit. The very outfit that had captivated millions of viewers during one of the biggest stages in the world. Carefully displayed. Almost like a treasured work of art. Not simply hanging like another finished project, but presented with unmistakable pride. And somehow, that made the entire performance feel alive again. You could almost hear the cheers echoing inside your head. You could almost see those stadium lights bursting across the night sky once more. Isn't that incredible? How one photograph can transport you back to an exact emotion. Back to the butterflies. Back to the anticipation. Back to the moment everyone collectively held their breath as Jimin stepped into the spotlight. Because let's be honest, that outfit wasn't just clothing. It became part of the performance itself. Every movement. Every spin. Every graceful step across the stage made the design come alive. Fabric isn't supposed to have emotion. Yet somehow, when Jimin wore it, it did. That's something fans kept talking about long after the performance ended. The way the material flowed under the lights. The way every tiny detail seemed perfectly matched to his movements. The silhouette. The texture. The subtle structure that looked powerful without ever overwhelming him. Nothing looked accidental. Everything felt intentional. And that's exactly why seeing the designer proudly share it afterward touched so many people. Because suddenly, you weren't only seeing Jimin. You were seeing the countless hours of creativity that happened before he ever walked onto that stage. Can we talk about how emotional that actually is? Imagine spending weeks, maybe months, sketching, adjusting, testing fabrics, changing tiny details over and over again, knowing your work would appear for only a few unforgettable minutes. Minutes. That's all. Yet those minutes would be watched by millions across the world. That's pressure. That's trust. And somehow, when the performance finally happened, everything aligned perfectly. Jimin didn't simply wear the design. He transformed it. There's a huge difference. Some artists wear beautiful clothes. Others somehow breathe life into them. Jimin has always had that rare ability. His dancing isn't only about technique. It's storytelling. Every shoulder movement. Every turn. Every subtle glance. Every controlled breath. Every gentle extension of his fingertips. The outfit wasn't moving because of the choreography. The choreography felt bigger because of the outfit. Do you see what I mean? It's difficult to explain unless you've actually watched him perform. And that's probably why the Instagram story felt so meaningful. Because it wasn't celebrating a celebrity. It was celebrating collaboration. An artist. A designer. A creative vision becoming reality. That's beautiful. Really beautiful. And just when fans were still admiring the story, something even more touching started happening. People began revisiting screenshots from the halftime show, comparing little design details they hadn't noticed before. The stitching. The layered construction. The flowing proportions. The subtle balance between elegance and strength. Suddenly everyone was paying attention to details they had completely missed while being overwhelmed by Jimin's performance. How does he even manage that? How does one performance become more interesting every single time you watch it? It's almost unfair. Because every replay reveals something new. Maybe it's his expression. Maybe it's the lighting. Maybe it's the choreography. Or maybe it's the incredible craftsmanship quietly supporting every single movement. And honestly, isn't that exactly what great design should do? Never distract. Only elevate. Only enhance. Only help tell the story. That's exactly what happened here. The outfit never fought for attention. Instead, it allowed Jimin's presence to shine even brighter. And that's an art form in itself. Meanwhile, fans couldn't stop talking. Social media quickly filled with excitement once again. Many were simply happy to see the designer feeling proud enough to share the creation. Others were amazed by how much care clearly went into every detail. Some even said seeing the outfit displayed after the performance somehow made them emotional all over again. Not because it was expensive. Not because it was exclusive. But because it represented a memory. One unforgettable night. One unforgettable stage. One unforgettable artist. It's funny, isn't it? Sometimes memories hide inside objects. A microphone. A pair of shoes. A handwritten lyric sheet. Or in this case, a custom-made stage outfit. To anyone else, it might simply look like fashion. To ARMY, it carries an entire emotional timeline. The countdown before the show. The excitement while waiting. The first glimpse of Jimin. The explosive cheers. The breathtaking choreography. The smiles. The goosebumps. The tears. Everything comes rushing back. And just when you think that's already enough, you realize something even deeper. The designer didn't have to share it. They could have quietly moved on to the next project. Another runway. Another artist. Another collection. Instead, they chose to look back. They chose to celebrate that special creation once more. That simple decision spoke volumes. It showed genuine appreciation for the collaboration and for the artistry involved. There's something incredibly touching about creators feeling proud of what they made together. Not because it went viral. Not because millions watched it. But because they knew it meant something. Something lasting. Something memorable. That's probably why the story resonated so strongly. It didn't feel like promotion. It felt like reflection. Like someone opening an old photo album and smiling. You know that feeling? When you stumble across a picture you hadn't seen in months. And suddenly every emotion comes flooding back? That's exactly how this felt. Only this photo happened to involve one of the biggest performances in recent memory. Honestly, one thing I've always admired about Jimin is how he inspires people around him. Not only fans. Not only fellow artists. But creatives from every field. Choreographers. Stylists. Photographers. Designers. Each collaboration seems to leave behind stories that continue long after the event itself. That's incredibly rare. Because true artistry creates ripples. The performance ends. The applause fades. The stadium empties. Yet somehow, people keep talking. Keep remembering. Keep feeling. Even weeks later. Even months later. Even because of something as small as an Instagram story. Can we appreciate how special that is? Think about how many performances happen every year. Thousands. How many are remembered this way? How many continue inspiring conversations through the people who helped create them? Not many. That's why moments like this feel different. The designer's story reminded everyone that unforgettable performances are never built by one person alone. Behind every breathtaking stage, there are dreamers, pattern makers, tailors, creative directors, stylists, countless hands working quietly behind the curtain. Most audiences never see them. Most never know their names. But every stitch, every cut, every carefully chosen fabric contributes to the magic witnessed under those stadium lights. And when one of those creators proudly shares the finished piece after the world has already fallen in love with it, it feels like receiving one final glimpse behind the curtain. One quiet reminder that extraordinary moments are created together. And somehow, that makes the memory even more beautiful. But here's the part that stayed with so many fans. It wasn't simply that the designer showcased the outfit. It was the feeling behind it. There was a quiet sense of pride. Not loud. Not boastful. Just the kind of pride that comes from seeing an idea become reality in the hands of someone capable of turning fabric into emotion. Because that's exactly what happened that night. Jimin didn't just wear a custom-made outfit. He carried someone's vision onto one of the biggest stages in the world. He honored months of creativity with every graceful movement. Every turn beneath the lights. Every powerful step synchronized with the music. Every fleeting expression caught by cameras broadcasting across the globe. And perhaps that's why, when the designer looked at that finished piece again, they didn't simply see clothing. They saw the memory of a moment that millions of people experienced together. A moment that still refuses to fade.